We're gonna be waiting for people to show up. I had to rock my nice shades that matches my workout outfit. I'm feeling really good today. I got some things to talk about, and we're gonna let people pull up. But if you get in here, like, repost the space, leave a comment, tell me how your weekend was going, how your Easter went, and how are you feeling, about the start of your week this week? Those are things that I kind of want to know. So we're gonna get back to it. Hope everybody's having a great day. Mm, mm, mm. Back to it. Hope everybody's having a great day. Mm. Let's see. I could be heard, can I? I'm looking at that. Let's see here. What's going on, brother? I hope everything's been good with you. Retweet the space, leave me a post, let me know how your weekend was going. I know you got blazed yesterday. If you do end up coming up on stage, I definitely want to hear what you partaked in yesterday, because I know you smoked. You know what I'm saying? I know you smoke every day, but yesterday you might have went like all out for whatever you were doing for 420. It's crazy that 420 and Easter landed on the same day. Now, I don't know when that's happened again, but I did notice it yesterday. Like, dang, 420 and Easter landed on the same day. That's kind of wild. I'm not gonna lie about that. Okay. Just how you doing? I hope you're having a great day. If you do want to come up and talk about how your weekend was, or um how your Easter was, I'm pretty sure you didn't partake in 420 on Easter Sunday, but um I did find it very odd. I was just saying that Easter Sunday and 420 landed on the same day. So people were getting high spiritually as well as with some cannabis. So, we got to hit those upper levels. If you do want to come up and talk, just request. It'd be nice to have somebody to talk to. Mm, mm, mm. Let's see here. Request, which is fine. Yeah, it's wild when you start a space and you have to, you don't have like another person that's doing all the retweeting and sending to, people chat groups and DMs and all that. It gets a little wild out here. How you doing, Just? Let me know if you how was your weekend?
Hi, Jonathan. Um, my weekend was interesting. Um, I didn't really celebrate Easter, um, but I did celebrate the rebirth, if that makes any sense. Some people call it Easter, some people call it Resurrection Sunday. Um, and, you know, I am celebrating the meaning behind the story of resurrection, which is rebirth. And we all have the power within ourselves to rebirth and be reborn and start the day anew. And so yeah, I was celebrating that. I uh I did not go to church. I stayed home, I chilled, and it was a great day. I've been working a lot. So and I had hurt my leg recently. So I was just recovering from that. I'm okay. It was minor, but
Hold up, I got a question though before you go on
yeah.
with that. So how did you hurt your leg?
I was doing too much. I was just doing too much. I was roller skating, and I don't want to. I don't want to go
Ah,
into.
there we go. There we go. That's what I was trying to get to the meat and the potatoes of the conversation.
Yeah, so I'm better now. But yeah, I was celebrating the rebirth of myself. I had went through many rebirths in my life. I was um I was also feeling a shift yesterday. Um a shift in my my feelings about where I've been and where I want to be, and just communicating that with others, loved ones, and I also make it a point within myself not to say too much too soon to people that I am close with, because you know, a lot of times I'm just getting the hint, like, don't say too much, just say a little bit. And you always got that one person who wants to ask you a million questions, and you're like, man, I'm not trying to talk about all that just yet, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, I I I felt a shift last night before I went to sleep. Definitely. I have this thing. Sometimes I close my eyes and I don't see anything. I see nothing. And sometimes I close my eyes and I see lights flashing. And sometimes I close my eyes and I see a bunch of different shapes and colors and different things like that. So last night was um, flashing lights, and it just so happened to be lightning and thundering where I am. Um, so I felt like what I was seeing when I closed my eyes was the lightning. And with the lightning, it would be like energetic pulses I was feeling. I don't know if that ever happens to you or you ever felt that, but that's what happens to me. And I felt that really strong last night right before I went to sleep. Had a dream that related to the rebirth and everything I felt needed to happen moving forward. So, yeah, it was pretty cool. It was it's not something that I talk to anybody about regularly, but it's good to talk about it. How about you, Jonathan? Do you have anything to say about all of that? First of all,
Well, what I will say is yeah, I've seen the lights and stuff before, the pulsating, as well as like your eyes are closed, but it seems like you're walking off somewhere. I've seen that before as well, like going through doors. Yeah, I've experienced those. The funny thing is that uh I actually, matter of fact, I forgot to do my whole opening. Shit, let me do that real quick. Uh, this is Brunch Before Lunch, episode 29. The question is, did you feel the shift? And also, the Pope died? Is what we'll be talking about, as amongst other things, as we always do. I am, powered by Exposed Media, the Exposed Media family. Shout out to them because we are doing big things out here, IRL and in Web3. So check us out. Um, okay, back to it. Now, I will say that Callie had called. We had talked, and then I didn't know that the shift had happened on Friday. But my whole things in my life was I could feel something different on starting on Saturday, and I seen some I seen some pretty wild stuff over the weekend. I wanted Callie to be here to talk about it. Hopefully, she'll show up, and then we'll talk about it. If not, then I'll just talk about my experience. But I've had some odd things happening with nature over the weekend, and her telling me that there was a shift that's happened made total sense of why everything was happening the way it was. So that part has actually been really cool to see because I haven't it, it hasn't been really hit me hard. You know, I don't know if it happens to you, but it kind of the energy hits you so often, so much that you eventually don't really feel it like you were feeling it before. Um, I don't know if that's just me, but that's kind of how it felt. And then after Friday, the whole shift over, that just really has like changed things. My mindset is like switching over differently. Um, I'm not I'm not so in my head right now, and I'm really pumped about that because you can get stuck in your head, and I definitely get stuck in mine. So if I'm out of it right now, then let's stay out of it and keep it moving, you know. But my weekend was crazy. It had some wild moments in it. Um, shit. Now I want to talk about it. Okay, so this is what happened. On Saturday, I was sitting outside and I was doing the wake and bake space. Shout out to my brothers. And I'm sitting out in the grass and everything, and I'm just chilling. You know, it's a great freaking day. The weather's great. Flowers are everywhere, and then you got the bees and the birds is out. It was a great experience out there. Um, but for some reason, after the show, I'm just chilling. I look for some reason I'm laying out, right? And I'm just relaxing. And then next thing you know, I start hearing all these words and, well, not words, but like squawking and stuff. And I'm like, what the hell is going on? I look up, there is literally it's a murder of crows chasing and pecking at a hawk, which y'all know that I pray to Horus, which is a hawk, and he usually sends me a message when he comes by, but this time he was being attacked, and I was losing my shit. I was like, damn, I wish I had a pellet gun or something so I could ping these motherfuckers. Like y'all just are messing with dude. Like he couldn't even get up high or anything, but he was circling like directly over my head trying to get away from him, but he was like circling over me, which is, I mean, if y'all know me, a lot of odd things like that happen to me all the time. And something told me to call Callie because I was like, shit is fucked up. Like this is really bothering me. You know what I'm saying? Especially my guy Horace. Like, what does that mean? Something negative? Like, what's going on? And she started laughing and stuff, and she was like, "No, it's just that the I think she said she'll correct me when she come in here. That the masculine energy or like war taking motherfuckers' heads off energy, it's no more. Like it's done. There's no reason for me to even be like that or to carry my sword around like that right now because things are so abundant. And she was saying it is like really switched over to the Aquarian age or the feminine energy is what's trying to take over the divine or whatever. And I was like, dang, you know what? That actually makes sense. But then that's when she told me that it shifted. It shifted over to that on Friday. So that kind of, flipped me out a little bit. I was like, hold up, for real? Like that's what's going down? I was like, okay, that makes sense. But I tell y'all all the time, I get messages all the time, every single day, no matter, even if I'm sitting in the house. If I am connected with outside world or outside anything, I will get messages all the time. And that one to me stuck out a lot. So she helped talk me off the ledge because I was flipping out. Like, what negativity does this mean if you're attacking a hawk, which represents Horus, and he comes and been giving me messages all winter, And now they got a murder of crows, just like, and it literally was a murder of crows. It probably was like 8 or 9, maybe 10 crows on them. I wish I had counted them. So then that might be a correlation as well. But anyway, so I found that extremely wild to see. And not only that, she was saying things when we were talking that correlated to um the earlier part of the shift before it even happened of what side of the line I ended up on. Because she said something about being on, like, I'm now on the right side, and everything's good. And I was like, you know what's ironic? Like a couple of days before I talked to her, now it was a chemtrail line, but the line was straight down the middle. And as I'm facing north, the line was straight down the middle, me facing north. And it was the only line in the sky. And it was crazy to me because I'm literally sitting there and looking at it, and I'm like, there's something very odd about that. There's no clouds in the sky, but there's a single line, and I'm on the right side. And I told her about that after the fact that she had said something about it, and it correlated with what actually happened to me. She was like, "Well, you're on the right side then, so you good." And I saw that 2 days before Friday, before Good Friday. So that's why I was saying a lot of odd things has been happening, sending me messages, as well as I saw like chemtrails again today. But y'all know normally they do long lines. They didn't. There wasn't long lines. There was like almost no clouds in the sky, and these chemtrail lines just made the shape of a trident. It was just two short ones and one long one. And I found that odd as well because the first thing came to mind was that like a trident. So I looked it up, and it's it's wild also, what that actually means as well. It's been a weekend. I will definitely say it's definitely been a weekend. But let me read y'all this, and then just I'll let you say whatever you got to say. Okay, so the symbolism of the trident is often associated with power, strength, and balance, representing all three phases of creation: the past, the present, and future. The body, mind, soul, the ID, ego, superego, heaven, hell, earth, and more. That is that shit was right on the money. For me, and that just happened this morning, an hour before I started this space. So I don't know what you got on, what input you want to put on that, Jess, but that was my weekend.
Wow. No, that's dope. You know, I I hit up Cali this weekend too. So I was really in shock about that. We both had stuff happening and we were both reaching out to our girl. Where is she? Where is she? But but yeah, I reached out to her because I had this wild dream. Um anyway, I really wanted to tell her about it cuz I know that she's into dreams and stuff like that. Didn't get to tell her anyway, but yeah, I think that that's all facts. And, the facts are in the signs. And when we do our due diligence in that moment to look up the sign and what it could mean, usually we'll get the answer immediately. Usually we'll get the answer, um, that we're looking for. And because we're connected to people who are connected, uh you know they would know the answer too. And I'm glad that we're all sticking together, coming together to help each other uh recognize the signs. And that is so dope. I mean, I feel the shift. Definitely felt the shift prior to now, but right now it seems like even more so everything is shifting. And I mean, I don't I don't really know too much about Horus specifically, but I would love to learn. And Yeah, I mean, when I pray, like how you pray to Horus, like I pray to God. Like I'm praying to my angels and ancestors and spirit guides that are helping me for my highest good, things like that. I'm not praying to a specific deity, but I know that you do. So, I mean, hey, I'd love to learn about it. Definitely. Um, I just, I really don't know what the correlation of the Pope dying and this new shift. I don't know what that's about. I feel like um I feel like with this new shift into uh femininity, um that a lot of men who were quote unquote in power in some way or seen as powerful might be taking a turn for the worst. So um I'd really love to learn more about that as well. But funny that we both reached out to Callie this weekend about experiences we had during the shift. I think that that's awesome. Um, yeah, that's really
The
awesome.
the funny part is she randomly called me. Now y'all know we get random calls from people every fucking day. And it might be a state, and you'd be like, I ain't never even been in that fucking state. I don't know nobody in that state. I know damn well you're a scammer. So when she called me, I saw Georgia, and then I heard a voice in my head say Cali. So I picked up the phone, and she was like, "Yeah, I was called to call you right now. I didn't even know if you would pick up the phone or anything like that, cause it's an unknown number." And I started laughing. I said, the funny part is I heard them say Cali. That's the reason why I answered the phone. So we talked for man, I think we talked for like 5 hours or something like that. Um, but it is funny, the people that you meet, especially you find in your vibe tribe and um spiritual tribe or whatever you use. Um, yeah, I pray to how many is that? I think it's at least 30, maybe 30 deities and gods and stuff like that. So yeah, and I do that all in the shower. So I get all that taken care of. The process is always the same, which is take a shower in hot water, get the dirt and the oils off, and then immediately after that, go straight to cold. So once I'm in the cold water and I'm eventually mentally putting myself into a meditative state using the cold water, as a conduit, I end up getting tapped in, man. And that's where I get all my, that's when I get my praying done. But there's not that much time that I'm in hot water. Most of the time I'm in the shower, I'm in cold. And I mean freezing cold water. But I was told to pray in the water, and I was told to pray in the cold water. I don't know what it is that's about the cold water. Maybe it's the shock to the system, your entire nervous system, and it kind of like just wakes you and opens you up. Well, for me personally, but I do that and I get my prayers in about people, for people and the family, and I give praise to them because I used to have an altar for them, but I'm in someone else's house, so I can't actually go all out like I like to or want to. But I do have my deity Papa Legba downstairs in the basement. Um, and whenever I finish, not finish, but whenever I get like to the last third of a really good cigar, I'll go down there and put it on his altar that I have for him. So I just kind of like sit it in his lap because he's sitting Indian style. And if it's something that I think is a good smoke, I'll give it to him because I know that he likes cigars. Like I know this for a fact. And the deities, they all enjoy different things. Some enjoy candy, pies, vegetables, fruit, drinks. Like Papa loves cigars and he loves Brugal. Brugal is I think it's a Caribbean. Somebody have to correct me on that one. A Caribbean alcohol. Um, it's not very potent. I've had it. It ain't strong enough for me to. to really get something off of it. I could just drink it and enjoy it. So he does like cigars and he likes Brugal. So gifting those things are very helpful, as well as Caribbean coin. Um, that also resonates with them as well. So I just been learning about different things, and I have a lot more to learn. I am a forever learner, but it's been a fun journey, and I like that the shift is here. Now the thing on the Pope, the reason why I said that is because at the beginning of the year, y'all know he opened all those gates, and I don't know if you know, but those gates that were open were, spirits and energies from other places when they open those, because that's why they said in 20 years no pope has ever opened all those gates at one time. So there's a reason for that. But you also have to understand that if there's that much energy back there and only certain people can open certain gates, you still are given a piece of your own energy to do so. So I think, I believe, and I could be wrong, that though that little tribute thing that he did might have taxed him very heavily on doing so. Because if y'all recall, he kind of disappeared right after he did all that for a little bit. And then finding out that, he was sick and all those things. Uh, yeah, the correlations on things with energy, when you really dive into stuff and you give a piece of yourself. And no matter if people, like I say all the time, just because you don't believe it, don't mean it ain't happening. It just means you're not conscious enough to see it when it happens. That's all. Some of us are, and I call those people like myself the watchers. That's what we here. We here to do things, but we're here to watch and see how it really all unfolds. And that's funny to me because I was watching, what was it? I was watching Highlander like many, many years back, the old Highlander. And for some reason when dude said something about the Watchers, it just stuck out in my head for years. And it's still there. And I was like, I guess some people are watchers. That's just that's what they're here to do. Watch, teach, learn, and grow. Some of us just pay attention more than others. I know I kind of went on a rant right there. I feel ranty today for some reason. I don't even know if that's a dictionary word, but I just made it up. Oh man.
That's okay. Um, I love that explanation because I'd forgotten that that happened. Um, yeah. Um, wow. So now he's dead. Hmm.
Yeah, yeah he is. They they would never elect a black pope, they say, because it would mean the end of the world. So, and I think there was at the time when I heard that, and I don't know how true that is, but the time that I heard that, um, there was actually only one black guy out of all these dudes that wanted to be a pope, and they just kept skipping him over and over and over again. So I don't know. Is it true or not? Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. I don't know on that one. That might just be gossip, but it is a little odd that the one black guy that wanted to be pope, many times over, kept getting skipped over. Don't quote me on
Okay,
that,
so
but
now I'm reading, I'm sorry. Now I just saw a post that said that the Pope dies at age 88 on Queen Elizabeth II's 99th birthday.
exactly. Now look up what 99 and what 88 mean, because that's what I'm saying. Like there's more going on in the world that people are not understanding when we're talking about them shifting things into a whole new way. As far as like the stock market and everything looking bad and abysmal, that's literally on purpose. If you're going to do a great reset, you have to reset in every single field or market that you could possibly think of, whether that's humans, or that's product, or whichever way you want to look at it. When there's a reset, there that is a full reset of things. It's the only way you can change things is by resetting them on all levels. That's the only way it works. Because if not, then you leave a gate open or closed when it needs to be either or. So I don't know. That's why I'm not really worried about it. People are panicking about everything right now, but at the end of the day, if you're doing what you're supposed to and you're trying to be the best person you can as well as help people, then I think you're going to be good. The universe seems to always provide when you need it. Not when you want it, but when you need it. And if you can keep that kind of thinking and keeping the heart of a child every single day of having adventure, I think that you're going to be all right, because some of the poorest people can be the happiest in the world, and some of the people with the most stuff are can be the most miserable, evil, vindictive people. So it would be all about perspective. You just have to adapt. Like I've said before, the people with the eggs, how they were flipping out about eggs, and people all in the timeline talking about how expensive they are. And I've been saying it since then. Take your ass to the local farmers and talk to the people under and know them and get to know them, and then you can get a discount. And no matter what the price is, you're eating real eggs. You know where they come from. If you need to talk to the man about your eggs, you can go talk to him personally. When you go to the grocery store, you're talking to a manager who ain't making that much money and who really don't give a shit. I mean, that's just the facts of the matter. He just don't give a shit. It's like, I'm clocking into work, bro. I'm doing these 8 hours and I'm getting the fuck out of here. So this the number you can call. You call this number and somebody will get you taken care of, and then they go on about their day. But with the farmers or the people that are, doing anything you getting your product from locally, you can go talk to them. If you have a problem, you can get that talked about. As well as, we're in the world of NFTs and crypto. What if you could set yourself up a deal to do branding with your NFTs or whatever? Branding with their product. So now their product's getting out. There's so many ways that things can be done, with you just, reaching out your hands to local people around you. There's a lot of factors there. What's going on, Callie? I see you then pulled up. I did talk about what we were talking about briefly, but we can dive back into it if we need be.
Listen, it all sounds like energy to me. I'm hearing everything. More than that, I'm feeling it all. It's crazy right now. I'm literally running around to, different spaces in which the portals are out. No lie. I mean, I don't know how to say it any plainer. There is, well, a lot going down, and not by mistake, by design. I heard the facts, Jess, and they're true. 88, by the way. Just go look that number up. I won't even try to make you understand it today. But 88. Find out what you can do with 88. Okay. And, you know, on a side note, because, I'm tracking the energy in such a way, this is the Pope that opened the holy door. This is, the portal just this last,
I mean,
past.
Callie, he opened
Hmm.
5.
Yeah. Well, I'm just saying the one that then stamps the new infinity will rings, 88. It's a lot, but I'm trying to get across that it's not by mistake, it's by design, energetic design. And that's it. Like, these are vibrations people don't know exist, furthermore, don't know have been manipulated constantly, you know, to get this that we have. So when we say, there's enough people in the know now that we can take back control now, you know? As far as what you're able to do, your power. And yes, Jonathan, you already know you know what we've been doing, connecting the dots. And
Straight
you
cooking.
know yeah, yeah. And we don't, and this is not, y'all, like, I don't know how to even explain it. And Jonathan will be like, just do it, don't try to explain this, but in, like, all honesty, it's just like, when you're on a certain vibrational wavelength, you will attract and furthermore repel things that are not, you know, where you're supposed to be. And if you know how to interpret all of the energy that is constantly like swirling around you and what it means to you, in your toric field, then hey, it's going to be a lot of like crazy synchronicities, strange happenings. That's how you'll code it, or fantasy. That's how you'll code it. But true indeed, it is having its effect on the 3D. Can I bring up something? I hear you always talk about Papa Legba.
Oh
Okay.
yeah,
And I don't
yeah,
know how
yeah.
long
I
you've
love
been in
Papa.
touch. I don't know how long you've been in touch, and I can't say that I've yet to meet. I don't believe. But there's Oshun, Ogun, Shango. There's others there, but Papa Legba is getting the big screen. I heard in the Sinners movie. So you
Oh,
might have talked that up yourself, Jonathan. Go see Sinners. I'm hearing there is,
I'm
well,
going
Ryan the
tomorrow.
director. Yeah, Ryan the director spoke on there, and the inspiration of the energy. So he's got a place. So, and I really want to give you that credit. I really want to say you're the only one working that portal, but I know you're not, because let me tell you like this: spiritual workers, energy workers, healers, crazy people, um, all of us combined are part of the design, and we're doing. If you're doing the work, somebody else is doing the work. Okay, and see, that's how the alignment works, and then furthermore, that's how the manifestation of the thing literally ends up on screen. So it's a lot of layers to this, but you know, everything that we spoke on, the Pope, the practices of the Pope for centuries, how potent a portal of energy is that?
I mean, it's
Well,
pretty
so
potent.
so potent it put Easter and 420 on the same day after 220 plus years. So yesterday was, man, crazy, like, crazy. But stamped is the word. It was stamped. The energy was, where it needs to be, and it's flowing today. I mean, as you can see, you see the happenings of today. So I'm just glad we unpacking it, the shift.
I'm not mad about it. I'm enjoying it. What you got, Jess?
Okay. Um, I'm not familiar with that word, the Papa Leg one, I think.
Papa Legba?
Um, what is it? How do you
Papa
spell it?
Legba. Legba? L, so Papa, and then Legba, Legba. Legba. He's looked
Oh,
at
what is that?
he's a deity, and he is looked at as like what is the why am I'm drawing a blank right now. I cannot remember the gentleman that carries the keys in Catholic religion. Maybe you can help me, Callie, but he's supposed to be a representation of him. He's the man that is between both worlds, allows people to see their loved ones, talk to their loved ones. He's the man with the keys. He's also the man that can get you what you looking for, what you need. That's why I was saying um Papa is one of the people that likes Caribbean coins as offerings. And I believe they said that the gentleman, the young the black man that was that supposedly sold his soul. I cannot remember his name right now. He's actually in that movie Sinners. There's a correlation with that as well. There's a whole bunch of esoteric things in the movie Sinners, but I'm not gonna get into it right now because I need to go see it on Tuesday. Then I can get into it after that. But anyway, so he is the man that you can meet to make a deal.
Yeah, and the
Um,
spirit, in the energy of spirit, the keys, like you said, to even, I guess, open the door to possibility that you have access to these other energies and things. So that's who that. Oh, the old man with the cane. You know.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I know who you're talking about because
Mhm. Yeah.
my parents they had a statue of him that they got from Dominican Republic, but it was made in Haiti. And and they had a statue of it in our house. I remember that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was
Okay.
he all
Gotcha.
black? Because yeah, Papa
Yep.
is like
Oh yeah.
he's like black, dark black, and it usually
Like
has a pipe.
dark. It was
Yeah,
made out of dark wood, and he had a cane, and he had a little satchel bag, and he was yeah, it was a little statue. He had a hat on. Yeah.
yeah, that's one of his statues. I got the one where he's just it's just his black skin with no shirt on, and he's like smoking a pipe, and he's wearing black pants. I mean, not black pants. He's wearing red ones. And yeah, that's Papa. I believe his correlation is to red as well. Now they depicted him in the show American Horror Story Coven, but they made him look all like devilish and evil looking. And if you really find out that that's not actually Papa, that technically is being depicted because that's not how he looked. That is another deity that likes to play with people. So there's been stories from a woman that I was following on YouTube where people that are not of our race was trying to call in Papa, but what they got was the trickster spirit who takes the place of Papa to mess with people. And apparently, these three Caucasian people died not too far after trying to contact him. Um, Now, did it go with what had happened? Is that why it happened? I don't know, but all I know is that's why it's important to know your heritage so you can know what rocks with you and what don't rock with you. Because if it rocks with you, it's not gonna hurt you. But if it don't rock with you, there could be problems. And I know I'm getting a little bit into offerings and things like that, but there are certain things that just because you offer something doesn't mean you worship the devil or something like that. There's many deities and things that you may be connected to that accept offerings, and the offerings could change your life because you might need their help. You know what I'm saying? But people who try to do malevolent things and see the malevolent spirits to or deities or demons or whatever to get something out of them that's selfishly for themselves. The thing about it is your offering has to be on point. It has to be the right amount for an offer. You can't come up there and offer some bullshit because if you try to offer some bullshit, they gonna fuck your ass up spiritually, but they gonna mess with your life, and that's the reason why it ain't a game to play with. You should not be playing with things that you don't understand. You should be trying to understand, overstand, and understand this information before you try to step on any road or any path dealing with these kind of things. This is a disclaimer. It's one thing when somebody's whooping your ass and you can see them. It's another thing if somebody's whooping your ass and you can't. So, and you can't call nobody on some of these things. You know what I'm saying? So, tread with caution, but study your bloodline. Find out what's in what I guess you could say like deities and things for the people that was in that region. What did they worship? You know what I mean? Because you may be walking with those people may be walking with you and you don't even know it. So that's untapped resources and help. You know what I'm saying? Every time I do this space, I pray to them in the shower and I let them know that I am an open vessel. Anything that you need to come through me that needs to be told out to the people, please do so. Well, I mean, I do it every day, but I specifically do it right before I do my space because there might be a message out there that some people need to hear. That's all I'm doing. That's all I'm doing. We shaking and breaking out here. That's all. Just shaking and breaking, enjoying this lovely day. It's the days have been so lovely here, and the flowers and
Okay.
everything.
So Jonathan, all right, and Callie, I would like to share with you this dream that I had, and I wanted to tell Callie the other day, but we were both busy. Anyway, it didn't happen. So I want to share this dream I had with y'all because it was so like it was other than any dream I ever had. I mean, I've had interdimensional dreams before, but this one was ridiculous. Um uh Pretty much in the dream I knew that I had crossed dimensional timelines. And this was Friday night, Saturday morning. I woke up and I was like, "Oh my god." Um so anyway, I had a friend who brought me to this new dimension, and in this new dimension everything was strict. They had a certain way of doing things. Everybody wore uniform, and if you were out of line or if you weren't in uniform or if you didn't respond the way that they had taught everyone to respond, or if you weren't wearing the bracelet that everybody had on, they they would like set the dogs on you. Like there were dogs that would sniff out people who weren't in line. So I had a friend who brought me there, and there was like this huge buffet, and it was of food that I never seen before in my life. I was like, what is this? And like I was tasting it, or I wasn't eating it, but I was like putting it on my plate. And I had never seen this type of food before. It looked like ribs, but it wasn't ribs. I don't know. Anyway, I don't even eat meat like that. So anyway, you know, basically, um, I had met this guy who, like, I could tell that he was into me, and it was a black guy, and he turned out to be a scientist who built the machine to go through different dimensions, and he gave me the ability to go through um like to another dimension after I knew that I had crossed timelines or into a new dimension. Anyway, so I was running at this point because they had called me out. They were like, "Hey, who are you? Why don't you have on our uniform? Where's your bracelet? Where are you from?" And they set the dogs on me. So I'm running. I run into the men's bathroom. I went into the men's bathroom because they didn't see me go into the bathroom, and I knew that they would think that I was in the women's bathroom. Anyway, I get in there, and the scientist guy specifically tells me that I have to read these affirmations, and I have to believe it, and I have to find a way to relax and fall asleep in order to cross to the next dimension. So then that's what I do, and I fell asleep like in front of a toilet and woke up in another dimension. It was so crazy. And then I met the guy the second time in
Oh
the
man.
next dimension. He recognized me, and um then he knew that he had to help me, and he had decided to make that device again to get me back where I came from originally. And I'd almost fully woken up before I got back to my original dimension, but I went back into the dream to finish it out and ended up getting back safely just in time. So, like,
Okay.
yeah, yeah, go ahead.
No, so let me ask you this. Let me just ask this question first. How many dimensions or worlds do you remember seeing? Like, were there differences? If I said, did you see two worlds just, or did you see more?
Well, the original dimension that I was in, um, where I was taken out of by my friend, that was one dimension that I wasn't actually familiar with, but it was the original dimension that I came from.
Okay.
So technically it was three.
Okay. So, well, that makes sense to me because, and I'm still trying to listen through to find out if, man, I want to say this is astral projection, but this is lucid dreaming because you're aware. However, like in lucid dreaming, you can manipulate there in that place. So you're it's making me more, astral projection with a partner, by the way, because I think you said somebody that you know in real life Is the person in your real life that brought you into the initial world, or no? Did you know that person?
I knew that person. That was like okay, so
Do
basically
you
it
know them in
started.
3D? Do you know them in the 3D?
Yes, but I
Okay,
haven't talked to them in a really long time.
that's okay. Y'all
Mm,
are on the same ascension.
yeah.
Y'all are on the same ascension level. And I know that I remember saying that you were at least 7D. So like, or had monitored up to that point. And then of course I know, we're constantly going back and forth and back and forth. But so okay. So we won't say lucid dreaming. We'll say this was astral projection into at least three different dimensions. The first being one that you were comfortable with but did not know, and then two that you saw after that, right?
Yeah, there was one where it was it had to have been lower, like a lower dimension or like a Mars. It was like a Mars type feel, like where everyone had to be in line or else, and it was like it was very strict, and the dogs were mean, and they were looking for anyone out of line kind of thing.
Okay. Well, I ain't gonna. So this morning, let me just. Well, everybody, if you can or when you can, just go see the post I posted. You just go look at the post I posted, and then let me know if it means anything. Because again, it was, a truthful channel, and I just wrote it. But it spoke of. Well, I feel like I used the year 2075. So like that far out. I don't know if. I mean, at the end of the day, everything, everywhere, all at once. So
Oh,
Mhm. All these worlds
yeah.
do exist. You know what I mean? And now, what you're getting to see or what you're getting to connect to via vibrational energy depends. But it's not, to be honest, this sounds like astral projection with a partner, and you guys were on a tour. You were like, it was a tour, so you did see more than one opportunity, and now, listen, based on your heart-centered energy, which one was right for you? Well, I know in your case, being a Gemini, you're not going to find anything lavish about standing in line, dogs, nothing that feels tight. You're going to need freedom life. Most of us will need, you know what I mean? Um, and then, there's an existences of people who will, and it's not, I don't want to, let's talk about being controlled, but like we're all controlled on some level and some don't mind. You know what I mean? So it's this, I just think I want to get across the point that whatever you're seeing and then furthermore connecting to, is in your line of sight. And furthermore is in your uh, manifestation ability.
You know what, Callie? I do want to say that if um there is a show that is on HBO, and right now, damn it, I'm drawing another freaking blank. But when I figure it out, I'll definitely post it. But what I was gonna say about it is there is a scene in that show where the daughter of a gentleman ended up on the other side, right? Like, and that's what it was. It was like everybody was wearing white. They were going into an industrial building. They had to like fall in line and listen. And if they didn't, they were going to go somewhere completely different they didn't want to go. But it was like, it was taking them to the afterlife, but this girl was able to be there even though she wasn't actually dead. And the when you were saying that about like how people were, that's how it was. That they were very aggressive and like no nonsense. They were counting people. Everybody was wearing, white clothes and some white variation or whatever. But when you were saying that, it reminded me of that scene from that show, which you might want to watch. I really suggest that anybody watch this show once I put it up there because it talks about everything that we're talking about right now. You know, the Crystal City, and there actually being a city above us that we can't actually really see, talking about different worlds and timelines and how to weave in between them. Like, this show is on another level. And what people have with them is what they call their demon, which is, it's literally just like a different animal or something. Somebody might have a pelican, and somebody might have a leopard, you know, a chimpanzee. But if you hurt that animal, you actually hurt them. They correlate together. So I guess you could say they wear their sin on the outside and we wear ours on the inside. But it's a really dope show on HBO Max. And once I get the information while y'all are talking, while you talking, Jess, I'll actually post it at the top. But y'all really need to check that show out and check out every single episode, especially from the stuff that we talk about in here. It'll really blow your mind on what we're talking about now, that they're playing right in front of your face because they feel you're that stupid that you don't know what's going on. On that show, they dive into all that kind of stuff. But go ahead, Justin.
Um, wow. And now I'm thinking of a show that I watched called Chaos. It's on Netflix though. Um, but
Yeah.
but pretty much I was thinking, when I woke up, that a lot of times I feel like I lived in that second place, like Earth was kind of like Mars in a sense. Mars is like ruled by the it's masculine energy, so I was feeling like maybe that's where I feel like I've been. In any dream where I'm running from someone, or I'm having to protect myself, is kind of reflecting back to me how I feel in daily life, where I'm like running from being seen. I've had this, I don't want to say it's an irrational fear, but it's been a fear of mine of just being seen in general. And I know that it's my calling to be out there to be seen. And the more that I'm not doing it, the more that it's calling me. And also, a lot of times I am running from that because I don't, like, I want to do it, but I don't want to do it at the same time. And it's so conflicting. And a lot of times it shows up in my dreams when I am literally having to run from something. And I feel myself running in the dream. And yeah, so I kind of felt like it had a correlation to that. I'm not really sure why my friend was in the dream, because like I haven't talked to her in years. And you said that she's on the same ascension as me. I don't know. Um I don't know. But and the reason why I stopped talking to her in the first place was because she had a mean streak. She is a Virgo. I mean, regardless of sign, but she was just mean. And I was like, there's no reason for you to be mean right now. I didn't do anything to you. I don't understand why you're being mean. And a lot of times she didn't really have an excuse. She was just like, this is just how I am. And for that reason, I stopped talking to her. So the fact that she was in my dream just meant
Uh,
to me that she was like a core person in my younger years.
um, just stand by. You'll see. You could talk to her tomorrow. You could talk to her tonight. It's in the man. And this is crazy how like so relationships or relationships in which you were going to learn something of yourself or the other person that you were allowing but didn't like correct, or if that makes sense, like you're gonna continue to get those type relationships. But in this case it feels like, I mean, it could, like I said, it could be apology, y'all could be discussing, or just know that you will be at the same place that you will be in the same place that you thought of someone that you thought was an enemy if it's meant to be. And that's in the timeline of things. You also could both be still running from things because, I heard you say that too. So I don't know which, but there's enough similarity for you guys to cross each other vibrationally, you know, astral projection wise. In the endless existences, there's still a crossing. So I'm just saying, if you talk to her or see her, or it was in the ethers somewhere, because you just basically in your astral projectioning just stepped into another time that did exist, and they were there, and they were seeing you the same, as you were seeing them. So just stand by and see. I mean, you at the end of the day, sounds like astral projection with a partner, and you saw multiple realities, worlds, existences, possibilities, and you were able to hone in on details.
Yeah, I do want to say it was astral projection, um, because unlike other dreams where I was actually doing the action, I could just I could just see myself doing the action. If I was running, I could feel physically tired in other dreams, but
Hey,
in this
Bella.
dream I just saw myself running, if that makes sense. And I couldn't control anything, so I know it wasn't lucid dreaming. Like
Right. Yeah.
so it was astral projection.
Yeah, with remote
Wow.
view, yeah, because with you saying that you observed yourself, so you're outside of yourself, so you're watching fully, into the world, and so you're just saying, "Dang, look at me, I'm running," and you're like, "I didn't even know I could run that fast. What the, like?" And then and furthermore, like the fact that you could make an accounting of the action and like how it was making you feeling, that is also making an energetic signature on your 3D body. Like you are saying, oh, I was out of breath in this one, I'm not out of breath. So you're able to, feel the actual differences in the different experiences, which would make perfect sense, especially if you're, able to travel interdimensionally like you are in your dreams, which it's not. So the gag is, or the tip, like if you wake up and remember, it's not a dream. It was, let's just call it a remote view. You know what I mean?
Wow.
And if you're seeing it, and it okay, if you're seeing it, then there is connection to you in some way, even if you're just talking about it with us in the space. The connection could be just that small, but you've been able to see it. It's not a mistake that it was you who was able to see it.
Well, it sounded like you was on a fun ride there. Now, yeah, I've had a lot of those. It's the part that sucked for me sometimes was, I don't know if I was battling something or what I was doing, but I would wake up like I didn't sleep, and I might have been supposedly supposed to been asleep for 12 hours. It happened to me one time for every day for like 3 months. I just felt exhausted because I would close my eyes to go to sleep and I was not sleeping. I was somewhere else doing something else because I could remember what I was doing. And it was always something physical, walking around, talking to people. Sometimes I was battling. Um, and sometimes I've died. Um, which is it's not too bad. The part that sucks is remembering it. I don't know if y'all remember it, but usually, they used to say that if you die in a dream, you die in real life. I know that ain't true. For me, I don't know about other people, but for me personally, it's not true because I've had everything happen to me that you could possibly think of. And I felt it, remember it, and remember how it felt to go through it. Uh, so we know that probably means that I probably wasn't in a dream. So let's just let's
It's
just be
crazy,
honest on
but we
that
got
one.
to put it like this. That the spirit world, the energy world, energy never sleeps.
Yeah.
Like, so if you are connecting to these different imprints, let's just call it that, like different imprints of yourself on different dimensions where you are other beings. Let me say it one more time. Other dimensions where you are other beings. So here you're, Jonathan Fope, cigar smoker, da, 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 but there you could be, you know, warrior Horus, or like, you know what I mean? You're in another
Hmm.
archetype. You're in
Yeah.
another life, so depending on, this is why we have to talk about the alignment. The work that I do, like, you get to the highest height and see who you are in spiritual light or in energetic light. You can do that through your signs. You can do that through human design reading. Um, Listen, if you're not into astrology, I just first of all find out, check with yourself why. Why don't you want to believe there are stars that were here way before you that are telling you what to do? I know why, because you will feel small. And guess what? I only can put it to you like this. In the grand scheme, in this endless, infinite possibilities of existence, community, are you with me? No. In these infinite possibilities, everything exists, and it's what you are connecting to, because it's what is yours that is getting through. And this is depending on the work that you're doing. It depends on how much you're letting go, to be honest, of control. This is a game of surrender. Life is a game of surrender. I'm going to say it one more time. Life is a game of surrender. Now imagine you have to go into the game of surrender, but they give you the wrong rules.
Oh.
So they say, oh, life is a game of power. So learn these. Or life is a game of fear. So learn that. And you learn all of that. And then in the final stage of the game, you almost are at King Koopa, and they say, drop everything and follow me. What you gonna do? Like, it's like, wait, no, 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 no. The game is, so I'm hacking you, and I'm telling you that life is a game of surrender. You know what I mean? Like, whatever that means to you at the time, that right now that is coming through. It may not mean anything to anybody if you're not doing the work, or if you don't have the clues. And I'm not, if you're not doing the work, you don't have the clues. That does not, tomorrow you will. You understand? Like, don't get down on what you're understanding, what you're feeling, what you don't know. At the end of the day, if we're being honest with ourselves, like, we know the things that we should be doing, could be doing, would be doing.
True. So
Okay?
true.
That's it. And I guarantee, why is nobody's story different? Why is there not, all of the stories are the same? Are y'all listening? It's always got down to my last. And then dot, dot, dot. It's always had to lose and then get back 7 times. Always. The story don't change. Go look up everything. Go read all the near-death experiences. They all went to the light, because the light is all that exists. The frequency of love is this, God. Generative observatory downloads, the I am infinite autonomous, like, mechanism is literally what, and it's off of a divine plan. You think it's your plan? Well, Drake said it's God's plan. And everybody who's gone to the level of surrender of leaving their stable job and turning into an entrepreneur,
Yeah.
or losing everything they've got,
Yeah.
to try to get this thing. And then, you don't, timing is not real. So we don't control it. You understand? So now I don't know, like, so we always end up talking about the story of Job, because I think that's where a lot of us are. And we kind of can understand that story, where you got somebody who's doing well, and it's doing good. Everybody loves him and everything is swell. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, Job didn't say, hey, pick me to do some crazy ass shit to, pick me to tear my life apart. No, that's not how it goes. You either are being called for more,
Yeah.
and you don't ignore, and you just you do it, or you fight and you get And in his case, it wasn't even like that. All he could say was, I'm being called for more. All he could say was like, if God's doing this to me because God did that to me, then I'm knowing it. What's the test for? I don't know, but I'm sure gonna pass it. Type energy. So when we're in the fact that we're all having these conversations and knowing like each story has been told. And by the way, Jonathan keeps good record on what Hollywood is selling to you as, you know, lore or
Right.
fantasy.
Yeah.
Where are these stories coming from? How are we getting this information? Who's pulling these ideas out of thin air and showing you what they've seen and calling it a dream. So it's deep, but it is what it is. I mean, just coming to the reality of shoot, nothing is real and everything is real. Like literally,
We are
everything is
definitely
everything.
we are definitely in a time of that right now. And you
You,
are right though, because I'm definitely paying attention with these movies because I think that's what makes movies so fascinating to me is the fact that someone sat down, got tapped in, was given a message. They created a book or a movie or a series over it. Some people watch it for just entertainment, but other people are getting the codes that are actually written in them. Like that's the part that kills me so much when I hear people be like, "Oh man, movies is just movies. Like they just I don't even watch them. They're not important." But they are because that is true storytelling. And then the crazy part is the person that's writing it and directing it and setting up the scenes, they think that this is something they just came up with. When every step that they've made and took had nothing to do with them. It was to get the message out to the people that actually needed it, that could understand it. There are codes everywhere. I say it all the time. And that's why movies are fascinating and TV series is because you could ask a question, you might watch a certain movie or series or TV show, and then it answers the question in it that you were actually asking. The only other thing that I've seen that in was the I Ching manual. And you could literally take that book, grab it, throw it on the ground as you asking your question before you throw it. And I guarantee you, almost 9 times out of 10, it will give you an answer to your question because there are just more forces working that people just don't understand. So I used to talk to people about the secret things that would happen in movies and stuff when we used to go to the movies. You know what I was called by those people that aren't my friends no more? Crazy. Man, you just be reading too much into it. But they don't understand they are not like me for one. And for two, they never really dove into it because I don't think they really care because they think it's just entertainment, but I know better because that person literally got information downloaded to his brain or to their brain to put out a message. It just was in the form of entertainment. And some people will see it, some people won't see it. Some people will get the message from it, and then some people will actually see it, know that there's a message in it, and then act like it didn't even happen. Those to me, I feel the worst for because the ignorance is bliss is kind of true. I do understand that, but it's different when you're willfully ignorant. That is completely a detriment to yourself and anyone around you that gets knowledge from you because you're not being truthful to yourself. You're not being truthful to your spirit, your higher self. You, you're just not being truthful all the way around. So how in the world can I take advice from you if you actually saw what I saw, and then when it's time to talk about it, to let the message out, you act like you didn't see it. Can't be trusted. What's going on, Just?
I mean, just just think about the Matrix, and that exact thing happened. I mean, the person who wrote it actually had experience. They had to have experienced something of the sort to recognize what it was. And the fact that we all have seen that movie and recognize that there is so much truth in that, um it's so obvious. And I think that a lot of people, most people, the sheeple, whoever, will see movies like that and think, well, what is it that I can do, little old me, you know? And I can't do anything, even if I do feel a spiritual connection or some sort of inclination to do something. What could I possibly do, by myself? Or you know I feel like I've had thoughts like that too. And yeah, I could talk about it, recognize that but there's people who are not talkers. There's people who don't come on spaces and talk to people or feel comfortable with that, or and there's people who have to get out of their comfortability to do something about it, and they're just not willing to do that, and
or
they
who have
think
to get out
they're
of
so
their
small because
comfortability
that's what the
to
world
do,
teaches them. And hey, it's
and they're
okay,
just not
we're all a piece of the puzzle, but
out
they're
of
so
the
it's
world
hard to
teaches them.
put
And hey,
that
it's
into perspective
we're all,
when you are operating
but they're
from
so
it's
world
hard
teaches
to
them. And
put the perspective of,
into perspective,
I can't do anything, I'm so small,
operate,
or
it's
that
hard to
something
them the
possibly can happen from
perspective,
me
I can't do
saying
anything,
one thing to someone, and then there could be a
or
ripple effect. Like, people don't naturally think like
can
that, because that is the lighter side
me
of life.
saying
That's the
one
more
thing,
positive side. That's the glass
or
half full
like people
type
don't
of mentality, and majority of people
because that
don't
is
have
the
that,
lighter side,
so I
positive
have a certain level of empathy for people,
mentality,
and
and
I
majority
just
of people
I know that
side.
it's
So
not as easy as
have
I see
a
something,
certain level
I
of
know
empathy
something is wrong in there, so I'm gonna do something about it.
and
You know what I'm saying?
majority
Just
of people
Yeah,
not
no,
as
this is
easy as
yeah.
have
I see
a
something
I can see your point.
is wrong
I could definitely see your point on that.
about it.
At
You know what
some
I'm
point,
saying?
majority
Just
though,
of
you're
people
gonna have to do it. And the only reason
as
This
why I
is
say that is because
something
you don't have to take the
is
call.
wrong.
I could definitely. Don't get me wrong. You don't have to. At
You know what
some
I'm
point,
saying?
though,
Just
you're gonna have to do it. But the thing about it is there's a reason you were asked because there are things in your bloodline that could be broken now. Or at least start. But the thing about what I'm saying, but if nobody starts and they just keep kicking the can down the road like the government does, broken, then at the end of the day, it's gonna fall on the shoulders of somebody else. Maybe your child, or maybe his kids, and they just keep somewhere down the line. But your entire family is still suffering until somebody steps up